Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to talk about Tell Me Your Secrets, Season 1, Episode 2. Wow, what a great improvement over Episode 1. You guys know, if you watched the first episode review, which I recommend, I was not a fan of episode 1. I thought episode 1 was really pretty bad. It was really confusing and scattered, and I did not like the format of that episode, and I didn't like it in this one either. But since this one is episode 2, they cut back to not making so many cuts back and forth and all over the place. So it was a lot more smoother to watch that instead of, okay, here's a scene with that person, okay, here's a scene with that person. They still did that though, and so that was one of the things I didn't like. But yeah, it is so much better than the first episode. It was such an improvement, and one of the reasons is John. Wow. John, the former rapist who has been assigned with a mission to find Emma, the girl in witness protection, who might have killed the teenage daughter of the other woman, or might have been a part of it. I don't know. We haven't learned that yet. It's like a mystery that's in the background, sort of like Twin Peaks, the way that you have a girl who died, and it's like, okay, who killed her, and that type of thing. And John was really, really good in this episode. And in fact, he reminded me a lot of Norman Bates in Psycho 2. If you guys have ever seen Psycho 2, where Norman comes home from the asylum, and it's just him trying to not break and trying to live a normal life again while everything and everyone around him is fucking with him. And of course, this is written not as good, anywhere near as good as Psycho 2, obviously. But John's performance I really loved, and I really like him now as well. So all that's left is just the one biatch, Mary. And I'm not a fan of her character. I'm not a fan of the actress playing her. I just really do not like her character. But I like the other two main characters a lot. I like Emma. I like John, and that's it. And this episode, it's simple. It's very simple. It's working in a slow pace, but a nice slow pace. I was really entertained. And then I paused it at one point, and I was like, no, I'm halfway through. I want more. I want more. I was really enjoying it, and I really enjoyed this episode, and I was surprised by that because it was so bad in the first episode. And now I'm looking back, and I'm like, okay, see, if it was presented like this, where, I know everyone now. In the first episode, it was a guessing game. Okay, who's who? Who's related to who? Sorry, I had a little itch in my throat. But now, since you're settled in with all that stuff, it's so much more entertaining. And so, let's see what went on in this episode. Well, I'll start off with what I didn't like. There's this new character named Pete. And the name Pete itself is kind of okay. I don't like people named Pete. For some reason, I don't like that name. It's kind of I prefer Peter. I mean, if you name someone Pete, you might as well name them Peter. Come on. Pete. And so this Pete guy, he sort of looks like the second guy in Grimm, the werewolf guy, who always wears sweaters and shit. He sort of looks like him. And, he's kind of like a bad guy, and he has this little story where, and this is going to be all spoilers, obviously, because it's been months and months. And so I'll just say, without spoilers, go watch the show, because I really wish that I would have watched this show back when it first came on and reviewed it when it first came on. I really like it, and I'm sad that I missed the boat on that. It's just another thing that, like, oh, I missed that. Oh, instead of worrying about WandaVision and bullshit stuff like that, I should have been worrying about this. Instead of worrying about the shitty new release movies, I should have been worried about this. I mean, this is such a good show and so entertaining. But this Pete guy, he's got this wife, and already they had this kind of awkward scene where he's sick of hearing the same stories from her, which I can empathize with, because who likes hearing the same story over and over again? It reminds me sort of David Lynch. If you guys have gotten David Lynch's masterclass, he basically, like, 95% of it is stuff that he's already said before in interviews. And I was so pissed off, I spent $90 to hear this guy say the exact same stuff he said before. And, not that I expected him to spill any secrets of, like, the hidden meanings of anything. Obviously, I don't care if he reveals that or not, but I was expecting a lot more insight from him. And so with Pete, his wife is telling this, I can't even remember what stupid story it was. It was some dumb, obviously written for a TV scene type of story. Like, oh yeah, that's a cute little dumb story. And he gets mad at her, I guess, a little bit. And then she's in therapy, and he's, like, listening in on her. And so it's like, ooh, look at this evil guy. And then later on in the episode, if that's not bad enough, he's driving along the road, and there's this girl walking along the road, and he wants to pick her up, and then she runs away. And he's basically stalking her at her group home, the same home where Ethelrita was in. And so it's like, is he the killer? Did he kill Ethelrita? Who knows? He's probably is the bad guy, though. He probably is. I don't think so, though. I think it's way too obvious. Since this show isn't a suspense show, it's a mystery show, it's a thriller, I don't think that they would blow their load and reveal the killer right now and say, like, oh, look, this guy's the killer. See how evil he is? See how he has a wife who he mistreats her and everything? Like, I don't think that. He's like a patsy. He's like a Lee Harvey Oswald type of person. So I didn't like that stuff. I just thought, like, oh, this is really obvious and stupid. I wasn't really into that at all. And then you got, well, let's get out with the bad first. Mary, quite contrary. She meets with John, and they're in this restaurant, and she's just the same snarky, like, unpleasant person. And I understand. I wouldn't want to be sitting with this guy who I knew, like, raped how many women? Like, ooh, oh, I don't want to. That sounds really uncomfortable to me. But the way that she acts, she sort of acts like she has this bossy, like, superior type of attitude that, really makes her character unlikable. And then she does this thing where it's supposed to be her and her son, and it's a quiet, like, I don't know, it's anniversary, and they're sad, and they're in a church. But then the mom says, F that, and she gets, like, all the victims' moms and creates this big thing, and she gives this really badly acted speech. And so that was a terrible scene, but I guess it was entertaining because it was so bad it was good. And then she got oral from this one guy named Adam, and I don't know if this Adam is going to be a problem. He was just kind of meh. And I'm watching out for Adam, though, because you guys know when there's a character named Adam, that's really kind of a red flag. You know, if you've ever seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4, remember Adam from Buffy? Remember Adam from Your Honor? Adams are not to be trusted. As you guys know, you should know, you do not trust a guy named Adam, in my opinion. And so, other than that, her story is just kind of meh. Like, she's basically there to help fill in gaps with John's story. And now let's talk about John Boy. Now, he's not John Boy, he's John, but I'll call him John Boy. And he was so good in this episode. And he basically tracked down Emma's mom, and he pretended to be an alcoholic at this meeting so that he could meet with her and talk with her and get all the dirt on Emma. And that she finds out that Emma used to be in foster care in Minnesota. And so that's like the new destination for him. He's going to go to Minnesota. Is he going to go to Fargo? I don't know. Yet another similarity with Fargo. Yeah. And there's this really cringy scene where he's a really good actor, as it turns out, from this episode. I really, I kind of just wish that I could watch him, honestly, because he's so good at playing this, it's really uncomfortable, because you can tell that he's being, this fake person, but it's there's this question there of, is he a bad guy, truly? And he's gonna be bad again, or is he a guy who he was bad and now he is actually growing as a person? It's really hard to tell, and so I really like that complicated type of thing going on with him and his character. And he's talking to Mary, and he says, Mary, found her, Minnesota, totally. That's where she is. And then Mary's like, when are you gonna go there, John? And he's like, no, I cannot go there. My parole, I cannot break my parole. And then she says the stupid cliche shit where she's like, I have very influential friends, and I'll tell them to square things up so you can do whatever you want. And it was like, okay, what kind of influential friends? Excuse me. That's such a terribly lazy excuse to write in there. I have very influential friends. John, you will do what I say. You go to Minnesota now, John Boy. And then John's like, okay. He's really, at this point, he's really like her little bitch. And I can't wait to see what happens with him, because he's just perfect. And now he is the main attraction of the show because of his acting and because of his story. It's a good story, and it's better than the stupid main mystery, which is, there was this girl, and she was killed by someone, and we don't really know what happened fully. Who cares? I don't know who that girl is. I knew who Laura in Twin Peaks was over time, and that's why I cared. But you know you know this girl. You don't even know her. So I don't understand why I would care, honestly. And then we have Emma. I want to get this done because I don't want to... I have really slow Wi-Fi, and so it is a pain in the ass to upload. That's why I try to upload in public, but anyways, it is a pain to upload. I'll say that. Doing a video every day, the biggest downside of being a YouTuber is uploading and trying to upload a good time. Emma, in this episode, she's giving haircuts, and then, what do you know? I can't do the drumming sound in anticipation because I'm holding the phone with one hand, so that's unfortunate. I was gonna be like, anticipation building. Sorry about that. And then Rose walks in, and Rose is the bully. And she can bully me all day long because she walks in the she walks in the barber shop, and she has this demanding presence. Like, it's not just that she's a bully. She is a demanding bully. And she walks in and she looks like she could just step on you with her influence and her power. And she walks in there, and of course Emma, the one who smashed her head like a little watermelon, gives her a haircut. And it's really funny bad dialogue because she's like, she's saying like she has a lot of bumps in her head. So did she have a hard birth, and does she have headaches all the time? That was so funny. And then of course, and basically she's got to give Rose a haircut. And now I was really upset at first because we don't get to find out the haircut until the end of the episode. And I was like, what? Come on, show us. What haircut did she give her? Did she give her some really good haircut that quote, works well with her nose? And then we see her and it's like, okay, like, she basically gave her the same haircut she had at the beginning of the episode. And then there's this like weird scene where she's in her room, and it's really funny because she takes like a selfie, and I guess she didn't like the haircut, or Emma gave her a bad one on purpose or something. I don't know. And she's like doing all these hashtags, and she does hashtag Dark Rose. Like, why is she calling herself Dark Rose? She's not dark at all. She's a pale white girl, and she's doing hashtag Dark Rose. I mean, what? Hashtags. I hate hashtags. Don't you? And her mom like locks her in her room because of her haircut, I think. I mean, have you guys ever heard of that before? Who the hell gets locked in their room for having a bad haircut? And she's like, my daddy likes my hair. The stuff with her is the best stuff in the show, I gotta say. But aside the stuff with John, just seeing her is just like, you know, it's also one of the main attractions of the show. And so to finish off with Emma, she had this like thorn or something in her knee, and she pulls it out with the help of this cop. And I gotta say, the cop was pretty good. I can't wait to see more of him. I can't remember his name because he just wasn't in enough. He was only in like one scene. But it was basically proof that she had the altercation with the hooded guy, so that'll be helpful. I give this episode a B. It wasn't good enough to give a B+, but I would give it a B. It was very entertaining, and it was very like, okay, we're getting to a good show now. Like, I can't wait to see the rest of it. I can't wait to see more of Rose and and I gotta say, I was talking about the editors of the show having a hard time. Like who gets locked in their room for having a bad haircut? And it's really kind of creepy if you think about it. And I also like the music too. The music is actually good. And that was another big improvement on the show from Your Honor, is that the music isn't so heavy-handed and like with Your Honor. That's what the music in Your Honor sounded like. And this music, you know, it's a lot lighter. It's a lot more pulled back. So it's better. So anyways, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment what you think of Tell Me Your Secrets, episode 2. Oh, fuck! Damn it! I forgot! Ugh. there was this terrible flashback scene with Emma and the serial killer guy, or the possible serial killer guy, and he was so cringeworthy. I really hope that we don't have to suffer through more of him, because he's just really bad. And he actually says the title of the episode, "Burn Me Once I'm Dead," and I thought it was really cringeworthy because, once again, it's a title that only applies to one character. So it really does not work for me when the show's about three characters. So I really hope we don't have to see more flashbacks, because it was trash. Anyways, goodbye everybody. See you soon for episode 3.